A thing I can't stand as I grow more and more red pill is female unthankfulness. I think that it's a good litmus test for a woman's investment when she gives a shit test in an LTR that implies in any way that what you are doing for her or giving to her is not enough. Now, we know that built into female nature is a complete disregard for appreciating or thanking male investments. It's not their natural default. And I believe it's a thing that in a particular woman might be able to be trained. Now, solipsism will never be entirely eradicated because it's part of the firmware, but I do think that a woman could be trained to have some sense of appreciation for who you are. And the reason it's important is it's a barometer for her investment in you. Now, the way this manifests is your girl says, how come we don't ever do anything anymore? How come we don't go out and blah? On one hand, yes, with any human being, settling into routine and removing, or settling into routine and being incredibly predictable kills attraction, kills polarity, kills value. So we want to avoid that. But at the same time, it's a slippery slope if you let your woman badger you in any way for a lack of novelty in her life. And it's one of those things where it's a never-ending slippery slope that you could be facing. So if, for example, you start getting nagged as soon as you just went out to eat, right? And if your frame isn't rock solid, you could miss a great opportunity to remind your woman that thing that just happened didn't need to happen at all. I think another great test here is when you've got something coming up that has been something maybe you've planned on together, or a gift that you could give her, and then just saying no, saying that you're going to take it away, saying that, and citing one of these instances, these perhaps relatively small instances of lack of thankfulness for what you provide. And what it is making the woman have to admit to herself and have to admit to you that she's appreciative for what she has. Now, on one hand, you can't negotiate desire. You can't negotiate a woman having an accurate and perspective for you as a alpha male, and you can't what's the role of saying? You can't explicate, you just have to demonstrate. But what that means is, as soon as you start to realize there's a lack of thankfulness there, you can ghost, or you could actually just kind of take it as a shit test and brush it off temporarily, laugh it off. But then the next thing that you were planning on doing, don't forget this instance of inappropriate behavior from her, and play the hand then. So when you've got your, let's say some shit goes down when you're, when you're out on a Tuesday. On Friday, when you've got dinner plans, when you've got something else going on, it's a great way to test her, and a great way to test her character and her investment in you, to say, oh, no, we're not going to do that, actually. Because you weren't very thankful for dinner on Tuesday. I didn't hear a word of thanks from your mouth. I didn't hear any appreciation. So, I feel like it's kind of invalidating to my sacrifice of my time, and to the fact that, you know, I carved out that time for you and it wasn't enough. And so when am I supposed to feel like it is going to be enough? Should I keep giving you more and expecting a different result? That's not how I want to be treated. And to me, that sort of a frame is the only appropriate frame, because there will never be an end to her nagging that it's not enough. And that's frankly for other men. That's for other more beta-framed men to indulge. And the world's full of them. You know, people who are going to get out of bed in the morning and be motivated by, oh, well, honey said that I need to just do X, Y, and Z because I haven't been. Or if only I could just get that promotion so that maybe then we could take the trips that she says she wants to take. Like, no, there's no ends to it. If it's not this trip, it'll, like, whatever trip you've done together, if that one wasn't enough, if that wasn't only something that she can be thankful for and look at with gratitude, then it's not the right perspective. The only acceptable frame is that every ounce of your time and energy and money is a gift. Why? Because, gentlemen, you are the prize. And the only way to act like you're the prize is to not tolerate being treated in any other way. You have to demand being treated as if you were the prize. Your dick is the prize. Your time is the prize. Forget your money. Women don't really care about money. It's the fact that you are the one who can provide her with the emotions that no one else can. And it's simply that. You'll cut off the flow of water. The fountain will dry up. The fountain of entertainment, and the fact that you are able to give her a set of emotions that she can get from other men, but probably won't in as great a frequency. It's frankly the only card you have to play, that you are a man of an exceptional frame, and that your attention is finite, that that you are something to be cherished. And the way that gets manifested is in not tolerating a fraction of lack of thankfulness, not tolerating a moment of lack of perspective. And frankly, anytime that occurs, the only logical option is to just cut off anything good. Like, because you're thinking about this, right? In the sense of, to train the behavior of any living creature, you're going to reinforce the things you want. You're not going to reward the things that you don't want, right? So you cannot reward an ounce of unthankfulness with more good things. Every good thing is cut off. Your attention, your resources, and your attention is the most, valuable of the resources. You aren't going to give her your personality. She doesn't get you. And the other component of this is to watch her behavior if and when you do this. It's the great litmus test for what kind of a person is she. And frankly, I think what's important here to remember is that if a girl apologizes for not being thankful only in the moments when you've taken away the things that she wants, that's not a very valuable apology. So if you had plans for a trip, your woman is acting up, your woman's acting unthankful, your woman's acting disrespectful, your woman's not treating you like the prize, when that occurs, if you reinforce that behavior by still going on the trip, by still giving her the thing that she wants, how are you interrupting the cycle? That doesn't make any sense. There's no other logical option but a strong frame. You need to spell it out. Oh, well, if I wasn't cherished and appreciated for this, where does that end? Where does that end, dear? At what point would I ever feel like I'm appreciated for what I give to you? And here's the thing. You want your woman appreciating the scraps of attention. You want her appreciating every ounce of you that you give to her. And if you're not keeping that frame, you're very quickly, it will be surprising how quick you are completely taken for granted. Your resources, your time. It's the sunlight that can illuminate her otherwise boring existence. And if that's not appreciated, then there's a storm cycle coming in. And the sun won't be seen for a while. And, you know, and you can say it to her. You can say it like, oh, you know what? Yeah, like, just being deliberate, being upfront with it. So a lot of it here is asking a woman to do an unnatural thing. You're asking her to say to herself, to be unnaturally realistic about her choices, right? So if what she says to you is in any way unthankful for the things that you've done for her on a day-to-day, minute-by-minute basis, even the fact that you're spending time together, even if all you're doing is you're showing up for her to foot the bill for a meal, you're the one that's showing up. She gets you. And you could have not shown up. She should still be thankful. You could have been somewhere else. So keeping that frame, it's not easy to do, particularly if you're a nice guy. But this is where that self-respect and that true masculine polarity comes into play. You demand that your attention be valued more than other men's. You demand it. You demand it. It means you got half an hour over pho. Where's the thankfulness for that? Especially if you as the dude picked up the check. There should only be fucking an extremely deferent, an extremely respectful response to that. Anything else is entitlement. Anything else is a toxically feminist influenced lack of perspective. She's not going to meet a lot of men like you in her life. So it's not really worth it to say that explicit thing. You're not going to meet a lot of men like me. But it is worth saying, oh, so particularly if there's an ounce of, it's when she brings up things like, oh, what about this trip? Or she starts telling you about other people going on trips, or other people, the new thing they just got. Or, I wish we could do more things like so-and-so. Or, did you see so-and-so's went to blank? Did you see that they just went to Hawaii? It's like, and the frame needs to be rigid, that like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were an exceptional person. I thought you were someone that got it. I thought you were someone that had a good head on their shoulders. I thought you weren't just one of the masses. And yes, you as a man are using this device of saying, oh, I thought you were a cut above. I guess you're not. I guess you're on the comparison treadmill around with the other swath of worthless women of your generation. Oops, my bad. I thought you were someone who deserved to be cherished. Oops, my bad. Cut off. Done. Boom. Now, the key thing to do here, in my opinion, is then you do, the next thing that you do is probably equally unnatural. You then open back up. You then say, a few days later, you check in with her. You're like, hey babe, how's it going? You then add the sugar. You add the sugar in and you see how she reacts. Now, if she drops it If she's still simmering and seething, that's the red flag. But if she like just responds to your good emotions, that's a really good sign, right? Because that shows that, frankly, the training is working. The training is working. You didn't reward her bad behavior, and now you're showing that you're not some butthurt dude. You're not butthurt, you just have standards. You're not gonna sit there and ruminate for weeks and months and never forget this and never let it go. You'll let it go. You just expect to see a change. That's the frame. You expect it to change. And then you get to see. But the only way that you do get to see if your training is working is you go back to acting like nothing was wrong after a few days of a freeze out. You have to go back to giving the dog treats. Once the dog... and again, I don't believe that women are dogs, but I'm saying this is the way that women train men. This is the way that behavior is trained in living creatures. And when you're talking about frame, right, this isn't even gender dynamic related. You're always in a frame battle. You're either someone's in your frame or you're in someone else's frame, and that's it. So all we're talking about here is how your frame can thrive. And it means that you have to then go back to giving that attention, go back to being sweet, go back to even doing good things. And then you start to see if the results are different. Are you getting that sweetness? Or have they not changed? Or are they obstinate? Or are you getting some even worse results where then there's this bitterness that comes, then there's even more of a jabbing at you. Then there's even more of, oh, well, I don't know about this. It's like, oh, shit. Then she really doesn't get it. Then she's trash. But the thing is, you're going to have to train this behavior into any woman. Because again, this is deep. This is fighting against a woman's natural tendencies to train them into this sort of thinking. To train them into thinking, oh, wait. I had best not nag my man. And this isn't a conscious thought. This is a subconscious process. Oh, I had best not nag my man. I had best treat him like the prince he deserves to be treated like. I had best cherish him because he's an exceptional person. I've gotten what I say that I wanted. Again, these are all subconscious things, not explicit. I've gotten what I said I wanted. I've gotten a dominant man who knows where he's going in life. And I'm so thankful for when I get to be into his existence. I get to be a part of it. It's all a cherry on the top. It's all the dessert course. It's not the required thing. This isn't the meat and potato. Like, dessert's not a requirement to sustain you as a human being. You do need your calories. You do need to be fed. But the extras, those things of getting that male attention from a man of quality, you've got to find a way as a man, especially as you're growing into red pill awareness, you've got to be vigilant about behavioral reinforcement. The final component is this. Words are good, but actions are better. So that means if you say, you have one of these conversations where you're like, hey, that wasn't very thankful. I don't feel like I'm very appreciated right here. And then you remind your woman of what you just gave her. I just gave you an hour of my time. I just opened myself up to you. I heard you out. I was very happy to be in your presence. I'm glad that I invited you. But actually, I was glad before right now. I was glad before I felt like, oh, this just wasn't good enough for you. Well, you know what? If I'm not good enough for you, that's fine. But please do not waste my time. Please do not waste my time. This is either good enough for you or it's not. But you need to choose like a grown-up. Now, then once you lay down the law, when you say those words, the next thing that you cut off, the next good thing, the next plan that she was looking forward to that you cut off, that is the most important thing. You hold the frame. So even if she apologizes and she says, oh, baby, I'm so sorry, that wasn't da-da-da, you still cut it off. You still cut it off, right? Because if she's got a really good head on her shoulders, and if she actually gets this, if she meant that apology, then she's not going to punish you for saying no to the next thing. It'll just, in the same way that if you take away the dessert, someone who's emotionally mature will be like, oh, bummer. But that was an extra thing anyways. I guess I just don't get that now. Oh well, I mean, I'm disappointed, but life will move on. Now, if you get punished, then it tells you everything you need to know. This person's character is incapable of being trained the way it needs to be trained. Period.